find this fellow who, Well, anyway, we forgive his sins. We begin Cult of the Lamb at our own execution. I'd say we unceremoniously get our head chopped off, but seeing as there's a literal cult ceremony taking place, this ends what can only be described as a fascinating meditation on the futility of life, universe, and everything, except psych! We're actually summoned by this dapper-looking kitty cat who tells us that we are, in fact, dead. But this is no excuse to stop working. This absolute paragon of capitalist thought then tells us that we're here to start a cult in his name, and our options are either yes or absolutely, which seems about in line with your average workplace waiver. It gives us this cool hat, which transforms into a sword, and we return to the world of the living. Freshly indoctrinated from a literal capitalist hellscape, we immediately restructure the opposition with some permanent redundancies. After some friendly debate on the finer points of theology, we do eventually encounter someone else who didn't appreciate being on the cutting edge. We find this adorable bunny person and pull them into a portal seemingly made of blood and darkness, which is fine, it's fine, don't worry about it, it's fine, we're the good guys. We eventually make our way through a similar portal to safety, where we're summoned to the abandoned temple ground that will become the basis for our new cult. That is to say, our new book club. We find that it's a bit of a mess. Apparently there was a different drum circle here before ours, which is surely nothing to worry about. We send our first Twitch follower to do some work, and we make some dinner, and then we're off to say hello to the neighbors. So we run into this Pokemon card collector named Clonic. He offers us some of his bulk, except unlike most Pokemon cards, these ones actually have a purpose. They give us buffs. Awesome! We pick one, and we head on out. We perform some cultural exchange by way of murder, and encounter a worm god named Leshy. Although he thankfully can't see the future, or he would be running right now. He turns one of his followers into a, well, it's not pretty, I can tell you that. After dealing with that whole mess, we return to our camp with 2 new followers, although this guy looks pretty weird, so we turn him into a narwhal. Hopefully he won't cause too much commotion this way. Once that's done, we do what any good Cheese of the Month club does and build a statue in our honor, getting another follower who can worship it day and night, as is expected. We also build a temple, which might seem a tad gauche to some people, but thankfully our population of volunteer contributors seem to love it. We hold a sermon about how great all this is. We make some more food, clean up the poop that has somehow appeared on the floor. Must be some forest critter coming by. And we head off to find more cheese and cheese lovers. This time though, we are the ones cut down to size. At that point, we're summoned in front of the dapper kitty once more, and he informs us that he will not let us die until he's out of uses for us. Clearly there's no need to read into any of this. Huzzah! We are immortal! Our current quest is to go get some bones for, reasons. It seems like a quick crusade is in order, and we go to convert the latest follower of Aleshi who decided to engage in a theological pissing match with us. Returning to camp, we find that the forest critters have returned and they've made quite the mess, except... Oh no. Oh, you are going to pay for that, you little shit. Yeah, like that. Anyway, we turn Leshy's old follower into something slightly less, eldritch? And we return to our building unlock screen where we find... Hold up, what's that? Oh my. yeah, we're definitely gonna need some of these. Don't mind those, my dear theater troupe friends. Anyways, we hold a sermon and dance around the blood-red fires of hell for a bit, and everyone's happy as can be. After this, it becomes time to name our weekly movie get-together group. Through some deliberation, we decide to name it something nice and innocent. The Culture Zone. Get it? We play some dice with this guy named Ratau.
It's time to do. Previously on...
Take that green die, for example. That star crest I just rolled is for summoning. To be able to summon something, at least 2 out of the 3 dice that you roll during your turn have to land with the same type summon crest face up. And if I'm not mistaken, it seems I've come up with 2 matching summoning crests on my very first roll of the game.
Dimension the dice!
A game that I win, proving it to be a game of pure skill, of course. We go on another crusade, where we meet, this guy. We also get paid a visit by Leshy and his siblings. They're not too happy to see us, except Leshy, cause, you know. We inform them that we have the power of Kitty God and anime on our side. And they retreat in terror. After returning to our cosplay fan meetup, we decide to begin farming. And using the aforementioned waste as fertilizer, we successfully recreate mankind's first infinite money glitch. Now I know people can afford cons, and also what the smell is. When given the choice between making our followers love us more or making them work harder, we obviously choose more work. Go capitalism. One of our followers, Amdummiass? I don't know, I swear I didn't pick that name. Anyways, they want us to make them a grass meal, so of course we comply. Afterwards we can read their thoughts, which consist of complaining about the meal they just demanded. Ungrateful shit. After a series of rude portal IMs, we decide to go fight Leshy IRL not online and see what happens. On the way we meet a moth named Monge, who makes one of our followers love us more, and is wonderful and fuzzy and is the best character in the game. We also meet this cat merchant named Fornius, who is cute and fat and fluffy and gives us a free gift with our Pokemon card and is the best character in the game. We also meet... this guy. Finally, the time has come to fight Leshy one-on-one. Well, maybe not so much one-on-one, but still fighting all the same. His followers empower him to take on this terrifying form. His attacks look absolutely devastating, and he goes down like a wet sack of potatoes. Oh well, we steal his heart, literally, and show it off to our after-school archery club. We're just delighted at seeing a dead god's organ still dripping with his blood. Immediately after, we give it away in exchange for the ability to sacrifice a follower so we can resurrect ourselves if we die. What? Hey, don't worry about it. We spend some time on the fishing minigame. Then we go crusading once more, this time in the realm of Leshy's sister, Hecate, who does not seem overly pleased to meet us. She makes one of our followers starve, but joke's on her because we managed that just fine on our own. We also end up dying, but thankfully we are able to power through this time with a little help from our friends. Specifically our mosquito friends. For personal reasons. Back home, one of our followers decides to shortcut our previous infinite money glitch and asks for a meal made out of, well, it's not like we're lacking in that, I suppose. One must imagine Sisyphus stinky. Also, I am starting to suspect that the forest critters might not be behind all of this. Well, anyway, we make our caca connoisseur a nice scat stew.
That's me in the corner.
Immediately after, they complain about the taste. Not really sure what to respond here. We meet this groovy dude named Sozo, who loves, and seemingly is, mushrooms. He tells us that he's a fungi. And asks us to collect more mushrooms for him. Then he offers to rip off our head. Although that is a tempting offer, we decide to just stick with getting him the mushrooms. After some more time spent educating the followers of Hecate on the finer points of religious differences, we come across this nice young lady. Chanach. Look, I'm just reading off the wiki here. She offers us a bunch of relics, which really just seem to be ripped off body parts, and then declares that she will in fact make a relic out of us. We hit some of those weird statues in her cave, and that reveals them to be made out of follower meat. What a creative creature, this owl lady. The latest mosquito member of our wine tasting get-together wants us to go find his brother who has been lost. We now have 2 mosquitoes. The possibilities are endless. Except he immediately demands that we sacrifice him. Really jumping the gun there, buddy. But I do like the enthusiasm. We finally feel like we have enough strength to go defeat the second bishop of the old faith, Hecate. So, we head off to do just that. We even get my favorite curse, Hounds of Fate. This one's great. It automatically seeks out enemies so you don't have to aim it and risk getting hit, and it nearly always gets to the target. With this in our back pocket, we are sure to emerge victorious. Okay, sure, we have to sacrifice a follower to get to her, but that's no problem. We've got this. We enter the arena and, well, that's a lot of enemies. Well, not to worry. We have a curse that always hits the... Oh no, that's not great. Well, maybe we can still... No. We are defeated by the God of Frogs, and we return to our camp. Our vintage car enthusiast club is not impressed by the performance. Hater turns out to be named appropriately, and immediately tells us we suck and calls us a loser. I cleaned your shit, mate. But it gets worse. One of our improv troupe members is in open revolt, dissenting and preaching against us. It's the Narwhal. He is causing a commotion. We immediately build a prison. For naughty followers, yeah, that seems about right. We read him some bedtime stories, but it isn't quite enough. We must regain our honor. On the way, it turns out that this doggy has the option to pet him. I'm not sure what kind of chump the developers think I am, but who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Anyways, so we head towards Hecate once more, but this time, it's personal. With but a single pip of health left, we finally managed to do what the average Frenchman does for lunch every single day. Our followers cheer, our honor is restored, and our narwhal returns to his peaceful ways. The sewage situation is getting dire. Some of our troop members have literally begun shitting rainbows, and we begin to consider that maybe building a bathroom might be appropriate. But first, we exchange the heart of Hecate for some additional health whenever we go out. Things are generally going well, so we decide to take a request from a member of our folk dancing class, and we go find their friend who's lost in Hecate's former home. We head there and... oh no. Okay, so the hammer is, in my humble opinion, the worst weapon category by a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing hits like a truck, but when it hits slow enough that you could probably head to your local car lot and actually buy a truck in the time it takes to swing the damn thing, a lot of enemies is just gonna be faster. Now, it does allow you to cancel your swing, but since you usually won't know you're gonna get hit in time to react, this is only sometimes useful. So, here we are, stuck with a hammer, and all out of nails. Predictably, we are killed. No mosquitoes around, but there is good old Hater. Who's a bad leader now, huh? Not to worry though, the sacrifice won't be in vain if we can just save the friend. Which of course, we fail at. Back to our jelly bean factory, and things are not looking great. Our jelly tears are dismayed by our failure, and there is no food. So we have to feed them all grass, which leads to a bunch of them getting sick. Who would have thought? Everyone's pretty mad. We head back, determined to save the friend of our friend. Once again we die, and we have to sacrifice a follower. Well, this one has woken up the others by snoring before, so I guess it's sacrificing time. We do manage to save the person we came here to get, though. Hooray! We are heroes! We then proceed to immediately die once again. Can't even blade the hammer this time. One of our Santa elves is now dissenting. We put them in prison for it. Wait, this was the one who told us to save someone. Of course it is! Well, not to worry. We read them some of our fanfics, and they quickly turn around. We tell them about what we did, and they are incredibly grateful. And then... what's that? What are you doing? Oh. Oh no.
This spy has already breached our defenses. See what he's done to our colleagues. And worst of all, he could be any one of us.
And just like that, they are gone. You know, I really wish someone had warned me this was gonna happen. But what are you gonna do? We enter the land of Calamar, the third sibling who comes after Hecate. He gives us a warm welcome, immediately making one of our followers sick. We also find this field full of grapes, which means that at long last we can hold ourselves a Bacchanalia. Once we figure out what exactly that is, of course. We induct the newest member of our... a snorer, huh? Hold on, I have just the form for you. Perfect. One of our canoe club crew asks us to make another one eat a bowl of poop. Abusing our power over others to do something so vile, not to mention juvenile, seems completely out of line. So of course we do it. It sure was. We have the option of allowing our followers to have a ritualistic pit fight to the death, or creating a ritual that allows us to marry one of our followers. Personally, I always found that formalizing pit fights to the death took all of the fun out of them. So, one of our canoe crew dies of old age. Well, not to matter. We just need to go bury the body and... Oh, who filled up the body pits? That's unfortunate. Guess we need more body pits. You know how that goes. Head out once more. Not much of interest happens until we run into this guy, Plimbo. He seems kinda cool. So we go visit him at his home in the Smuggler's Sanctuary. We tickle his giant fish. Look, I know that sounds like a euphemism.
Dowdy booty. Bowdy booty, bowdy.
And I honestly kinda wish it was. And then we're told about his family life.
Babu, shbabu, bowdy.
Mother-in-laws. We then go to the lighthouse, where the residents are dismayed that it no longer attracts any ships. With our amazing deductive reasoning, we solve this issue by actually turning it on, and they pledge themselves to us. There's also this guy, who asks us to bring him a giant fish to eat. I can think of at least one giant fish he can have. But we just hand him a regular old fish, and he seems happy. Zozo then teaches us how to brainwash our followers in a giant drug orgy to keep them happy for a few days. And that seems like a great idea with no downsides. So, we do it. After beating an early bird in a game of dice, we go to fight Calamar. After all, we've already defeated 2 of these guys, and everyone talks about how much of a coward this guy is. How hard can he really— Oh, holy shit, he's quad-wielding. Oh no. Oh, that's so many bullets to dodge. Okay, you're just cheating now. It's fine, we still have one more chance. I hate seafood. And speaking of, our narwhal is once again, well, you know the drill by now. We lock him up and read him our script for Morbius 2 once more with feeling. He soon decides to stop his nonsense. Our graveyard is becoming increasingly full, which we need to find a solution for. Specifically, necromancy. We're bringing back our dog friends so that we may pet them once more, which seems to remind me of something I once read, but I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Also, this monkey ran away from me, shit on the floor as a distraction, then laughed. Starting to think they might be Welsh, but I need more evidence for such a harsh accusation. We turn our sights back on Calamar. It goes... well... Now I finally understand what that Squid Game meme is all about. Also, just know that my recording software messed up here, which is why things are zoomed in slightly in this footage. I would be more upset, but honestly it feels appropriate with everything else going on. Hello there, giant golden naked statue of myself. With that out of the way, we can enter the final realm, that of Shamura, also known as J. Jonah Jameson's worst nightmare. All spiders and not a camera to be found. There is, however, this gun. Shamura shows up and forces us to fight one of our stamp collector friends to the death. When we get back to our stamp collection club, things are a bit chaotic. Everyone's pretty mad. After we resurrected our monkey from the dead, they seem to have turned into a zombie. No, not the narwhal! One of our cryptozoology enthusiasts wants us to include some poor lost souls. Which, of course we do. With some flower power, we cure the zombie monkey and raise dummy thick ass, the narwhal, from the dead. Everything seems to be going great. It seems like we all need to let off some steam. Now we got just the thing.
Pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. Pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. Pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows.
Let's test your knowledge and see what you've learned so far. What color are the unicorns? Pink! They're pink. Where are they dancing? Rainbows! Please use one word to describe the texture of their magical fur.
See, doesn't that feel better now? After some more looting and pillaging, we return to our Tetris speedrun class where things are once again going not so great. We've got 2 unhappy Yelp reviewers, there's still a zombie running around, and everyone is starving. Well, except the zombie, because I seem to recall having more members. Not to worry about that though. We lock up the second unhappy camper in our new prison. That's definitely not an indictment of our leadership skills. We make everyone some delicious cauliflower soup. We bring back one of our dead followers, hold a feast, and dance amidst the blood-soaked fires of hell for a bit. And that seems to cheer everyone up. We also upgrade our healing tent so it takes less resources to heal our zombie friend. Though since we use the same resources to upgrade as we need to heal him, we are still 3 short. Sorry, bud. Guess you'll have to let your mascara run for a bit longer. Alright, first run at Shamora, who it might surprise you to learn based on, you know. Is, in fact, a giant spider. Thankfully, this does not mean that they wield 6 total weapons, but it does mean that they kick our ass thoroughly. Back at the communal garden, things are going about as poorly as they can. We cure our unicorn friend, but it does little to assuage the verdant anger of the gardening commune. The monkey does, in fact, see, hear, speak, and do evil, so we put them in the timeout. They decide to break the prison. Didn't know that was an option. We have to impress on them the futility of fighting against the system, and return them, before holding a sermon to try to bring some of that horticultural joy back into our group. We first hold a ritual to bring the foxeer back to life. Turns out they can wake up. Sadly, their spirit is sleeping somewhere, and we've got yet another zombie in our hands. Good thing we came prepared with medicine this time so we can wake them up inside the hospital tent and save them from nothing they've become. However, we don't have enough resources left for any of the rituals to make our followers happy. But you know what we do have resources for? It's time for drugs, kids! As it turns out, drugs solve everything. With one exception. Our followers are also hungry again. I swear, it's practically every day with these greedy guzzlers. After a couple of attempts, we do eventually manage to take down Shamora. Immediately after, the dapper kitty cat summons us to congratulate us on our victory, and asks that we free him from his cloud hosting. We will of course oblige, but we've got some stuff to do first, so we return to the yogurt factory. We get the choice between a ritual that will turn our workers into fertilizer, or one that will let them grieve for their lost loved ones. Don't think we need more of the former there. After having built a confession booth, we invite in the narwhal. You know what you did. And finally, we build ourselves a bar next to the confession booth, as that just seems like a practical choice. Technically, our next step should be releasing our dapper cat buddy from his eternal prison. But last I checked, his name was not the one who taps his toes impatiently. So, I don't think he'll mind becoming the one who waits slightly longer. Now, earlier I said that my favorite curse is Hounds of Fate, and it's definitely a good one, it's definitely up there. But this here is Divine Guardian. By itself, it's simply a small explosion, nothing special. However, it does 2 things. It reflects projectiles and provides temporary invincibility. Late game enemies like to spam a lot of projectiles, which means no you. We also improved the base a bit. Our golden statue now has children, so it won't be lonely. Can't do much about the drafty winds though. But enough fooling around for now. It's time to release the one who is done waiting. We head into the fluffy cloud realm of kitty cats, and we talk to our god, who apparently wants to have us killed. I feel like we've been here before. Look, buddy, I may be a sheeple, but I ain't no lamb to the slaughter. We decline his offer, and he sends the 2 smaller cats at us. After dispatching them, he breaks free of his chains, and he starts fighting us personally. Kinda seems like you maybe could have done that the whole time. Whatever. He might be a god, but we've got another 3-letter word for him to learn. Finally, after taking him down, he decides to show us his true form. Everything turns blood red, and his eyes pop out of his skull to fight us. Not really sure why he thinks that would make him stronger, but I guess he's done eyeing us up. We finally defeat him, and we're given the option between killing him and sparing him. Showing mercy here means that he will join our LARPing group, so we decide to spare him. And that's it. That's Cult of the Lamb. But we've still got one thing left to do before closing this one out. Aw, you sure are, buddy. You sure are. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more, do feel free to subscribe, or don't. Up to you, I guess. Anyways, have a good one. Bye!
Remember, reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram. Buy gold, buy!